In this section, we will talk about spline and how we can use spline to create models. So let's hold down on the left key and you will see this pop-up box. You will be able to see that there are different shapes of spline. So all this spline, you can use it together with this icon inside, and there's this extrude, lathe, loft, and sweep. So let's take a look at the spline. So we can create the spline with this. We can also create spline with our pen tool. So let's take a look at the normal spline first. Maybe we get a end spline. In the object properties, you'll be able to see that there's this radius or the sides, how many sides that you want it to be. The more sides you have, the more rounded it goes. So let's take a look at maybe we get 3 sides to get a triangle shapes. And at here, you can create a roundings. So if you have a rounding, you'll get a very nice shapes over here. Okay, maybe this is what we want. And you can change the plane to XY or XY or XS. Get into the XY, the default one. Okay, so we have these shapes, then how can we model it? Because if you render it out, you won't be able to see anything. So let's take a look at this. We have subsurface, cloth surface, extrude, loft, lathe, sweep, spline mask, body, and all these elements in here. We take a look at extrude. So let's create an extrude. This is the spline that we are going to extrude. That's why we need to select the spline, drag under the extrude. Whatever we want to change on the spline shapes, we change it at the bottom here. Whatever we want to change on the extrude attributes, we change at the extrude over here. So when we select the extrude, we can see that this object at the offset here, we can change the depth of the models. So let's get into the cap. You will be able to see that we have a start cap and the end cap. You can untick the start cap and you see that if let's say you want to have a tunnel, then you just untick both cap. And when your cameras goes in, you will be able to see a tunnel over here. If I want to zoom it in, I hold down my Alt key and hold down my right click on my mouse and drag to the right to zoom in and drag to the left to zoom out. If I want to rotate the scene, I can hold down my Alt key, hold down my left mouse click, and I drag to the left to rotate it and the right to rotate it. And if let's say I want to move the scene around, I hold down my Alt key and my middle mouse click and I drag around. So this is how we can move it. Another way of doing it is click this to move it, click this to zoom it, and click this to rotate it. We just click and hold for these 3 icons, then you will be able to get what you want. Let's go back to my extrude and I get my start cap and end cap. And I have this round here, and right now the edge here is sharp because I don't have a bevel shapes. So right now at the round here, I choose the size, I increase the size. I can hold down my left click and drag. Just hold down and drag, or you can drag at the slider here. And you can go to the curve and take a look what curve is. And you can go to solid and you see that it extrudes halfway. It's still sharp. And step, you can get the steps that you want. It depends on the segment that you have. And I get back to the round and I increase the segments. And this is the shape that you can create. So this is extrude.